Good evening, I'm Jules Levinson. I live at 1500 Kalmia Avenue in Boulder, and I'm here this evening to ask you to support JLF Boulder in 2018. In the packet prepared for this evening's meeting of the City Council, my wife and I found numbers that perplex us and a description of the initial years of JLF Boulder that troubles us. We responded in a letter sent to Council on Monday. Additionally, if you look at the second page of the document I've just given to the clerk and asked to be distributed to each of you, you will see numbers that contrast sharply with those given on page 250 of the aforementioned packet. In the simple table of comparison I created, the second footnote makes the main point. Our city's investment in JLF Boulder plugs us into the network of festivals that Teamwork Arts produces annually. Their promotion of our festival weaves us into an affluent, educated, curious, and mobile community that celebrates music, theater, literature, dance, and film across all of India, in Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney, in London, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Singapore, in Cairo and Alexandria, in Johannesburg and Zimbabwe, in Boston, Chicago, Manhattan, Seattle, San Francisco, and wherever else Teamwork Arts will set up shop in the years to come. In these reservoirs of knowledge and skill, the city-states of today and tomorrow, alliances are forged and the engines of prosperity generate mutually reinforcing cycles. At the Literature Festival in Boulder, we hear one another's stories, and for a moment we forget ourselves. In forgetting ourselves, we find ourselves. What will come of that discovery? What will someone make, design, build? How will his or her work affect industry, education, commerce, and the political... May I finish one sentence?
Yes.
Thank you. And the political life by which we negotiate our differences and our longing. Therein lie the mystery and the promise of good writing, good reading, and good conversation. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jules.
Hi, my name is Philip Lutkendorf. I have been a professor at the University of Iowa, and I'm in the process of retiring, and I have a home at 430 Overland Drive, which is up near the Peak to Peak Highway, so it's Boulder County. Part-time resident, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Jaipur Festival. It's been my privilege to be a speaker at 6 of these events, 4 of the festival in India and twice now here in Boulder. And I want to tell you 3 things, 3 reasons why I feel very passionate about them. One is the caliber of programming, just the fabulous writers, journalists, my present company excluded, poets, filmmakers, activists who come here, are brought here from around the world and are put into really fantastic conversation with each other on panels and also with the audiences. I was last fall spellbound by presentations by, for example, Michael Resendiz of the Boston Globe, Pulitzer Prize winner, Christina Lamb, an award-winning British war correspondent who writes on Iraq and Afghanistan, and of course many, many others, people that I would normally not have a chance to hear. The second reason is the quality of the audiences. As a writer, and as an academic writer particularly, it's just incredibly exciting to meet people who care so much about writing and communication. The audiences listen passionately, they question, there's wonderful interchange that goes on both in the sessions and outside of them. The third is the fact that the festival is free and open to the public, and it's very egalitarian. Neither in India nor here in Boulder are there any VIPs or reserved seats. It's first come, first serve. Everybody has an equal chance to hear writers and artists that they care about. I was particularly thrilled when Boulder became the host for this festival because it is such a special place for me, and I urge you to continue to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, council members. My name is Nico Odysseus. I'm the president of Shambhala Publications. We moved here just under 3 years ago from Boston, the second city of publishing. We moved here to Boulder because we wanted to be in a place where we could both make an impact on the community and also be in a community that benefited us. And we've taken advantage of that, growing to over 40 people here, hiring deeply in the community. Part of the reason we moved here is because of the richness and literacy and engagement of this community. It's such a highly educated and literate community. The Boulder Bookstore just this last week was rated the #1 bookstore in the country by Publishers Weekly, the main thing. This is a happening community. Oh, okay, right, now I know what that means. Got it. I was wondering if people were crazy around here, and now I got it. Okay. In an age where literacy is declining quickly among kids, we need to do all we can to light a fire of passion for stories, both to readers young and old. I'm obviously here for the Jaipur Festival, expressing my support. And I think the previous speaker, as well as some of the future ones, will tell all the great things about this festival. But just to bring another dimension to this conversation is the fact that we have an opportunity here not only to engage our community and drive, with the programming for kids and driving the high schools and universities to this, but I think there's a tremendous opportunity we have to marshal the Chamber of Commerce, the hospitality industry, the restaurants, the breweries, all the things that make Boulder a wonderful destination, and really try to market this and make this a destination. With a $4 million budget shortfall that I read about today, this is something that can actually drive revenues to this community as well. There's a lot we can do. There's a lot of opportunity here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, I was here about 2 weeks ago, but couldn't stay because the open session was put off for such a long time. So I came back today because I'm really a supporter of the Jaipur Literary Festival. I wish in some ways it wasn't called Jaipur Literary Festival because it simply impacts in the minds of so many people that this is about Indian literature. In part it is, we welcome that, but it really is such a diverse number of speakers. Jaipur Literary Festival is a young organization. It would be terrible, in my judgment, for you to cut it off without additional funding, given that we need 5 years to be able to qualify for grants, for foundations, and we are doing, I think, everything within the power of those members of the board, I'm not on the board, to raise money from individuals. Previous speakers have mentioned various factors, and I'm not going to repeat those because I also know you have a report that gives a great deal of detail. Nobody expects the City Council to continue this funding forever. We recognize that. But do ask that you fund it again this year to the full extent that you can, notwithstanding the sales tax shortfall, which may or may not turn out to be a shortfall. I hope it isn't. But as the previous speaker said, we bring a lot of people, we bring a lot of renown to Boulder by having the festival here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Suzanne, thanks once again for saying my name so well.
Oh.
My name is Jyotsna Raj. I live at 863 14th Street, and of course, wearing red as all the supporters are doing. I'm here to speak to your continued support for the Jaipur Literature Festival, which I've attended all 3 years that it has been here. Usually I come before you to talk about matters of historic preservation and about keeping the traditions of Boulder strong. But today I'm here to talk about creating a new tradition for Boulder, and that is the continued hosting of the Jaipur Literature Festival in Boulder. It is really amazing that we have such a unique thing come to this city, which so well reflects our citizens. They're well-educated and they're well-traveled. And I urge you to fund this now, as you have been doing, so that it becomes a tradition for our city and continues to prosper in this city in the years to come. The JLF in Boulder is a natural cultural fit for our well-educated and well-traveled citizens, but today we are here to talk about fiscal issues. And I know that the JLF is a good fit for Boulder in this way as well. It attracts people to Boulder from surrounding communities, from around the county, and indeed the world. In the past decade, our neighbors like Longmont, Louisville, and Lafayette have upped their game in their restaurants, cultural events, and art shows that compare very favorably with what we have in Boulder, but they do not have the JLF. So I would very much encourage you to support this festival. It is unique in that it is free, it is inclusive, and it is international. A perfect fit for Boulder. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyotsna.
Good evening. My name is Judy. Actually, it's Leaf, not Lewis.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't going to touch that one. Yeah.
and I'm a Boulder resident. I live at 4067 Guadalupe Street, and I'm here in support of the Jaipur Literary Festival. And I've been fortunate. I'm also a former president of Naropa University, and my husband is the current president of Naropa. I'm also a writer, and I've been fortunate enough to participate in the Boulder JLF as well as in Jaipur at the mega JLF. And not to be too repetitive, but I think that Boulder is a perfect place for this festival. And I also know that it's just sort of getting started. To establish something like this as part of identity and a real draw will take, as I said before, 4 or 5 years it becomes known. And it's an international, which is one thing I think is so powerful about it. It brings people, not just thinkers from around North America, but around the world. And also, it's an opportunity to send people from here to Jaipur and elsewhere. So I was lucky to go to Jaipur, and other local people have been sponsored to represent Boulder and the richness that we have here in other parts of the world. It's important to me that it's international. It's important to me that it is free of charge. And I think there's tremendous opportunity for kind of becoming known as a cultural and artistic center, more so than we are now. I also think it's a real benefit to so many people in Boulder who are of senior citizens who have this incredible rich experience. Many people do not have resources to go to expensive cultural events that often. So this is offered freely to them. So thank you very much. I hope you consider continuing funding.
Thank you, Judy.
Hi, I'm Alexander Carruthers, a local resident and student at Boulder High School. Earlier this fall, I attended and volunteered at the Jaipur Literature Festival in Boulder, and was able to see firsthand all that this festival could offer the city. And frankly, this experience speaks to everything that Boulder is: cultured, well-read, and well-traveled. Providing meaningful conversation with people from around the world, with fresh ideas and different perspectives, and all of it for free. I was lucky enough to see firsthand its Indian counterpart, and teens in India flock by the hundreds to see this beautiful cultural experience, to absorb the knowledge and understanding from authors from around the world. But frankly, in Boulder, teens are not nearly as excited. America's youth seem to have little interest in the literary arts compared with the aforementioned in Jaipur. To combat this issue, we have a library, a place of learning, growth, and understanding. But to fully utilize this beautiful tool, there must first be an interest sparked in teens, to utilize the opportunities given to them. Now, the library has put together many programs for teens to develop a love of the literary arts, but none so beautiful and extravagant as the Jaipur Literature Festival. A spectacle that catches the eye and brings excitement to the world of literature, inspiring thought and a love of learning that can be utilized by the generations to come. The Jaipur Literary Festival is waiting patiently at our front door. The largest literary festival in the world, a landmark to be embraced. And I certainly believe that it would be a shame to close the door and let it walk away. Let's let this festival grow into something beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Michaela.
Respected Mayor and members of the council, my name is Mekla Netavar. I live at 578 Arkansas Mountain Road in Boulder, and I moved here in 2012, having retired from teaching at Princeton University, where I taught courses on South Asian languages and literature. I lived in Jaipur for 16 years and attended the original International Literature Festival there for many years, and have seen it grown to what it is now. And I look forward to seeing the Jaipur Lit Festival growing here in Boulder as well. I seem to have lost my paper, but anyway, I'll just speak. I was really excited when the Jaipur Literature Festival started here in Boulder, because the community here, and which is why I moved here, is very educated, very intellectual, and there are many writers. I'm a performer myself, and so I really enjoy interacting with all of the wonderful writers that come and the performers that come as well to this free festival. I host people who come from all over the world to come and stay at my home to come and attend this, and I really would encourage the council to continue funding the festival. It really brings a lot of new people to Boulder, and it enhances our life here as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joe Von Mays. I live at 17036 East Ithaca Circle in Aurora, Colorado. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Jaipur Literature Festival here in Boulder. In my experience, I have served as the Emeritus Poet Laureate of Aurora, Colorado. I have also been lucky enough to run a poetry program in the schools called Your Writing Counts that engages just over 200,000 students annually. On Wednesday, the 24th of January this year, I boarded my first international flight outside of this hemisphere to join one of the largest literary festivals and movements in the world. What makes Jaipur necessary is its inclusivity to the subject of literacy. It's not about the academic boys' club that we are accustomed to viewing. Jaipur strips down the seemingly unscalable walls of the literary world, and by doing that, it opens up the blockaded bridges, borders, and boundaries that separate our society. Boulder, being a populace that tends to pride itself on its intellectual circles and growths of mindset, is often plagued by the cultural complacency of a seemingly monochromatic community. Bringing together hundreds of individuals who share the same common belief in the absolute necessity of storytelling allows the extension of a dialogue necessary to groom democracy and equity in our society. I am a benefit of such a rare peek into a supercharged literary force of what a melting pot can be when an Indian Dalit, the lowest form of the caste system, can communicate across the same lines to an African-American male as myself of the struggles that we've experienced in both of our communities. We start to find some resources that will allow us to try to cure the things that are messing and plaguing with our society. It's really important for us to bring this type of cultural cataclysm together, particularly for a region that tends to continue to push against each other when we could resolve these lines. So I urge you to support this. I think that it can go a long way into helping our region grow. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Joe.
Good evening. Joshua Shelton. I live at 6455 Outrigger Court, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Jaipur Literature Festival. I'm also a graduate student at CU Boulder in Tibetan and Himalaya Studies. In conversations on economic costs, we tend to focus on numbers and lose sight of the human dimensions that impact our assessments. I wish to draw your attention to the human cost of defunding the Jaipur Literature Festival. The ability to mentally inhabit difference and diversity with openness and curiosity is undervalued and indeed increasingly under attack in our current socio-political climate. The JLS cultivates just this, an environment that an environment in which expression, insight, and difference are celebrated and encouraged. We live in a city washed in whiteness. A mere glimpse around the room will reveal this, and comfortable sameness. What more important task is there as leaders of Boulder than facilitating gatherings of people that expand our minds, soften our hearts, and encourage empathy? We live at the junction of a tenuous and challenging time, and it's the promise of JLS and what it delivers that can help us move towards greater understanding, patience, and acceptance. As a society, we are in desperate need of moving from tolerance to acceptance, and supporting the JLF will only assist in these efforts. Please do not condemn a vibrant and enriching community of conversation and thought to the fate of obscurity. Please, help this keep going.
Thank you, Joshua.
Hello, everyone. I was just handed a note that there are 42 people sitting downstairs in support of funding Jaipur Literature Festival. You've heard how prestigious and wonderful the festival is here and in India. I'd like to speak to a few other facts that haven't specifically been mentioned yet. The economy of scale for authors who of such prestige who arrive and present in Boulder is unmatched, whereas one speaker might command a speaking fee of $20,000. We bring 60 to 80 presenters for a total festival cost of $350,000. And none of these authors do receive speaker fees. None of them. If they're Nobel Prize winners, Margaret Atwood, none of them receive speaker fees. I also want to mention that there's a story that we haven't been successful in fundraising that's not really accurate. We have brought on Z Entertainment, one of the largest entertainment conglomerates in the world, as a major funder for JLF at Boulder at $100,000 level. So our corporate funding outside of city funding has grown significantly in the past year, and they are committed for 2018 at least the same level. Teamwork Arts, the producer's investment in the Jaipur Literature Festival in Boulder is over $400,000 for the past 3 years, and they produce 30 to 40 cultural events around the world every year. They've done this for 28 years. They are experts. They're extremely well known around the world and sought after by governments around the world to produce festivals such as, well, Jules mentioned all those places earlier. But they're not fools. They see this as a successful event, taking off and being very successful in Boulder. They wouldn't be pouring all this money into it. Library won Library of the Year a couple of years ago. And thank you very much for listening to us. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you.
Hi. I'm not prepared. I have never been here. I signed in when I came in, and I'm here because this festival is so important to me. And my name's Jules Marie. I live in Louisville. I emailed everybody, and I sent you samples of blogs that I've written in the past year. Does anybody remember that? Please, somebody say yes? Because I emailed all of you really great samples because it's real for me. I would never have met the people that I've met. I met the Queen of Bhutan. She sat down and read stories to children. She was humility in action. I'm a writer. I'm an award-winning journalist. I was like, my jaw dropped. I didn't know what to say to somebody like Michael Resendez, who blew up the Boston Archdiocese sexual scandal. I sent you a sample blog of that. So I met Nobel Prize winners. I met people who I have looked up to all my life. It was just an amazing festival for me. And you probably all saw Slumdog Millionaire. I sent you that blog. Vikas Swarup, I mean, the man, he's an ambassador to Canada. He's so nice. He just sits there all casual, and he's just talking like this is his life, to write these stories that reveal what it's like in India. These countries have come to life for me. I may never travel to these countries. This festival has opened up worlds for me I may never see. And so I really would love for you to continue to fund this festival. Thank you.
My name is Carly Sherwinter. Do you guys have me? Yep. Okay. So my name is Carly Sherwinter, and I've been a resident in Boulder for about a decade and a half. I work as the Family Engagement Manager for the Boulder JCC. I'm a regular patron of the Boulder Public Library, and I actually found out about the Jaipur Literature Festival through a regular library email. I was eager to get involved. I love to read and to learn about the world, and it was particularly helpful to me that the festival takes place mostly on a weekend because it allowed me to participate in the festival activities without missing work. So that was really important. As a volunteer for the festival, I was really struck by the diversity of attendees, and it was young families who were coming in to do the concerts with their kids or to do the family programming that was offered. I saw high school and college students who had just sort of wandered in and got hooked by the sand mandala that the Tibetan monks were doing in the lobby in front of the Canyon Theater. There were groups of young professionals who spent their day on Saturday and Sunday listening to people talk about what life was like in North Korea or about Syrian refugees, about global climate change, but all through the lens of literature. And I thought that that was really, really beautiful to see and interact with those people who came to our library and were there to learn together. There were so many opportunities for participants to interact with the speakers from all over the world, and I think, just heard from Jules how impressive it was to be standing in line even for the bathroom with someone who was a world-renowned author, and that's just a unique opportunity. Our library's not that big, so you get to interact. My husband and I actually had the opportunity to travel to India in January, and we were able to participate in the Jaipur Literature Festival in Jaipur. It was so impressive, the magnitude and the cultural significance. We were there together with hundreds of thousands of people who had come to talk about books and to discuss literature. It was really an amazing experience. I encourage you all to attend September 21st through the 23rd at the library this year. Thank you.